Hello everyone and welcome back to Jules Math Tools. In this session, we're going to be solving angles on a straight line involving expressions. Now in this video, we are only working with one expression, and if you want to see how to solve these type of equations, make sure that you stay tuned. In our first example, we're going to be calculating the measure of our unknown angle P when we have expressions involved with our angles on a straight line. In beginning solving these equations, it's important that you begin by first writing out the actual equation, remembering that just 61 degrees plus 66 degrees plus your P plus 27 degrees should all sum to 180 degrees. After writing out your equation, your next step is to sum all of the angles that were given to you. Okay, so now we're going to sum all of the angles that were given to us, which means we're adding our 61 degrees, 66 degrees, and 27 degrees to get a sum of the angles that were already given to us. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. We put our 4, carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13, and 13 plus 2 will equal to 15. So the sum of the angles given to us is 154 degrees. And when this angle is added to P, it should equal to 180 degrees. Now we're going to subtract our angles that we summed, which is 154 degrees, from our 180 degrees. 0 can subtract 4, we'll borrow from 8, making it 7. Changing 0 to 10, 10 subtract 4 will give us 6. 7 subtract 5 is 2, and 1 subtract 1 is 0. So we found that the measure of our unknown angle P is equal to 26 degrees. And as always, I always recommend that you go back and sum these angles up to make sure that they all add up to 180 degrees. But before we do that, remember that we were given this expression in our equation, which is P plus 27 degrees. So we now need to calculate to find out what exactly is the measure of this angle. So our P plus 27 degrees, and since we now know that P is 26 degrees, that means 26 degrees plus 27 degrees will give us the sum of our angles for 53 degrees. So now that we know that this angle has calculated to 53 degrees, what I'm now going to do is sum up all of the angles that were given to me, and instead of writing P plus 27 degrees, I'm instead going to use 53 degrees to see if my angles all add up to 180 degrees. So 61 degrees, 66 degrees, and 53 degrees should all add to 180 degrees. So 6 plus 1 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10. We put our 0, carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. And 13 plus 5 is 18. So we see that when we sum these angles up together, they do indeed add up to 180 degrees. And remember, checking is just as important as working out to find the measure of your unknown angle. Let's try another example. Feel free at this point to pause the video, calculate the measure of your expression, and then when you're ready, you can unpause the video and follow along with me to see if I got the same answer that you did. Okay, so let's begin by writing out first our equation, which is 80 degrees plus m plus 10 degrees plus 70 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Okay, so again, we're going to be simplifying our equation first by adding up all the angles that were given to us. 80 degrees will be added to 10 degrees and 70 degrees. So 0 plus 0 will be 0, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 9 plus 7 is 16. So we have 160 degrees plus m should equal to 180 degrees. And now I'm going to be subtracting the 160 degrees from my 180 to find out the measure that is remaining over. So 0 subtract 0 is 0, 8 subtract 6 is 2, and 1 subtract 1 is 0. So we found that our angle M is equal to 20 degrees. Okay, so remember that before we add up all these angles to check to see if our answer is correct, we first need to find what is the measure of our expression, which is M plus 10 degrees. And now that we know that M is 20 degrees, I'll substitute my 20 degrees for M, add that to my 10 degrees to calculate and find that the measure of this angle is 30 degrees. So now that I know my expression is equal to 30 degrees, I'm now going to add up all of these angles to see if they do sum to 180 degrees. So 80 degrees plus 70 degrees plus 30 degrees. Zeros plus zeros will be 0. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 3 is 18. And there you have it. They do sum to 180 degrees, which tells us that our calculation is indeed correct. Okay, so now that you know how to calculate the measure of your angles on a straight line when you're given one expression, make sure that you click the link in the description box below and practice questions just like the ones we did today. And until next time, this is Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy.